I get a lot of questions. Auto insurance, Medicare, Social Security. Social Security and Medicare, they're taxes. They were done through the taxing power. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to pay your taxes. Sorry, it is April. A good reminder also. Those are taxes. Now what are they doing with this abuse of the Commerce Clause? Instead of taxing you, so the money comes from you to the federal government, and then using that money and the spending power to pay for medical care for you or whomever, which the federal government at least has the constitutional power to do. That's what they do with Medicaid. That's what they do with Social Security. Instead, because they don't have the political will to tax you to the level they would have to tax you to pay for this health care scheme, they're simply ordering you, instead of going through the government, through the taxing power, to buy the product. Government-approved product, again, central government-approved product, for you to buy it directly. So this is one way to look at... Just kidding. One way to look at what they're doing is to bypass, to end run the taxing power, because they don't have the political will to actually impose the taxes it would take to pay for the extraordinary erosion of liberty they call health care reform. They're not willing to do that. And the Founding Fathers set up these different powers for good reason. They set it up for very good reason. It was to avoid this kind of constitutional shell game, so that your liberties couldn't be eroded without an honest, accurate vote by all the people first, either through an amendment, or that they're going to have to actually levy the taxes and pay the political consequences for doing just that. That's another way of looking at what they're doing here. It's not been much talked about, but that's what they're doing. They're funding their version of socialized medicine and healthcare reform by compelling you to participate in it in particular ways. And you'll fund it because you'll pay these exorbitant premiums, even if you'd never wanted health insurance before. And again, that comes, A, at a cost to your pocketbook, but B, at a cost to your liberty. At a cost to your liberty. And that is not something that I and many of my fellow attorneys general, Republicans and Democrats, one Democrat so far, are willing to stand by for. And I know you're not either. That's an effort that we're going to continue to see go forward. That's how the fight is going to play out in the courts. The United States has about 5 more weeks to answer our complaint, at which time they'll try to dismiss our complaint, and we'll have briefs back and forth on that. And everything I've talked to you about is round 2 of the lawsuit. Round 1 is their motions to dismiss, where they try to say there's no injury or that it isn't ripe. Things under Article 3 of the Constitution. You have to have a case or controversy. We say Virginia, the sovereign of Virginia, is injured if you are telling us that we cannot implement our law. Our law of a sovereign state in Virginia is due the dignity and respect of every other sovereign in this federalist system. And that's an injury if we can't execute under our law. And ripeness just means the injury hasn't happened yet. Well, folks, our law is going into effect July 1. It's already passed. It's a done deal. The president has now signed the health care bill. The individual mandate will come into effect January 1, 2014. It's like standing on a street corner and knowing there's going to be a car accident, and you can either sit in a chair, get popcorn, and watch the excitement, or you can do something to try to stop it. Well, we're going to do something to try to stop it and avoid the accident ever happening. And the Supreme Court has many times in the past provided for exactly this kind of timing on a lawsuit. So that's going to be round 1. You now know more about the legal process than 99% of the population. And if we get through that, then we get to round 2, which is the argument about the Commerce Clause and when they'll throw in everything in the kitchen sink. Well, okay, if it's not commerce, we're just taxing them. Well, okay, if it's not a tax, how about General Welfare Clause? It's generally for the welfare of people who are challenging incumbents. I don't know. They'll come up with something, necessary and proper clause, you name it. They're going to throw it out there. But it's going to come down to that Commerce Clause. And will federal judges allow the federal government, for the first time in history, in the guise of regulating commerce, allow the federal government to order you to undertake an act in commerce, to buy something? For the sake of liberty, I hope not. I hope not. And this is my kind of hope. And I am hopeful that we will have a federal judiciary that, while it hasn't always been protective of constitutional rights and originalist view of the Constitution, that this is going to go too far for them, that they are not going to be able to stomach this erosion of liberty. I'm confident of that, and I'm going to pursue it doggedly as your Attorney General for at least the next 3 years and 9 months, and we'll see what happens then. So thank you all very much. God bless your commitment to the Constitution and liberty, and God bless each one of you in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Thank you. One last reminder, got Mike Malillo under this tent here too. Mike has been a warrior for us since I was running for state senate, and please come on over here and sign this petition and get others to do it as well. And for those of you willing to help us out politically, as we rather catch a lot of slings and arrows, we're trying to throw them back, but we need some help doing that. Please give Mike your name and help us out. We could use the support and the help, and keep praying. We can use that too. Thank you.